Welcome to Business in Japan Television. Today's theme is developing future leaders in Asia. Here to tell us a bit about that is David Wagner of the Carter Group. Thank you for being with us today, David.
How are you doing, Jeff?
Now, the Carter Group is a group of specialist consultants and practices covering the areas of market research, data intelligence, executive development, and innovation. And we're going to focus on one of those today, executive development. Now, please, David, what are some of the issues that you deal with in executive development?
Well, we're focusing on current leaders as well as future leaders. And what we find throughout the Asia-Pacific region is that whether they're skilled or not, their communicative skills need improvement in terms of moving from just information delivery to persuasion.
But when we think of executives, young executives, we would assume that they're intelligent, hardworking, in-control kind of people, the right stuff. I mean, so why do they need someone else to come along and tell them how to act and behave or what to say?
Well, we don't tell them how to act and behave or what to say, but we give them options. And what we find is that organizations want to fuel the future. They want to look at ways in which they can have staff focus on the needs of the organization and empower people to do a better job. And so what we do is simulations where we're giving them scenarios to manage. Some of them are very vague and they have to put very specific areas of focus on. And we find people just don't sell enough. They're not able to target what their messaging is, and we really focus on message delivery.
And today, we've actually got a role play organized.
That's right, yeah. We have a friend who agreed to do this. He's a young Japanese guy. We didn't tell him what the situation would be so we get a fresh reaction. But we set it up where I'm looking for example, marketing assistants and see how he handles it. And what's quite interesting, and we'll see in the role play, he doesn't really sell. It's exactly what we're talking about. He gives a lot of information, but he doesn't package it well. So I think it'll be interesting for everyone to take a look.
Yes, let's take a look.
We are trying to expand into the Japanese market, and we need to get a feel for how Japanese customers might relate to our brand.
Right,
and what we're interested in knowing is which direction we should go in terms of focus groups.
I think we can provide a wide solution of focus groups or individual interviews, and then we can grasp the demand or the needs of each individual customers for your brand.
Would we want to do quantitative or qualitative?
I think doing both would be better in terms of grasping the actual needs. If you do a qualitative, we can find the feelings of what people need. Quant will actually back that up with numbers, hard numbers, and we can crunch those numbers to get a solid idea of how many people would demand, or how many people aren't actually interested, or how many people don't even know the brand, and we can actually get a snapshot of the market of how the brand could go.
So what can I expect in terms of feedback and insight if I do this?
Well, that would really depend on the group and what kind of people we get, and this will probably depend on the screening stages and what you need and what kind of people you want to see, and then what kind of people you expect.
What's the next step? Where should I go?
I think the first step would be to dig out the needs for the company and where the company wants to go.
Okay.
And then we can prepare a custom research like qual and quant.
Okay.
We can find the needs or demands of the market, and we can get a snapshot on.
Okay, great.
Great.
We'll get back to you.
Very interesting. So what's your take on that? How would you evaluate Ken's performance?
You know, this is typical of what we see. Young, dynamic, energetic, they have a lot of information to deliver, but they're really not packaging it well. And so at the Executive Development Group, what we try to do is help people to organize logically, make sure that their transitions are clear, make sure that they're able to convey things in a way that convinces other people. Persuasion is the key in all aspects of business. It's not just young people like this who are probably just getting out of school or newly into the organization. It goes across the board all the way up the chain to the CEO. And you know, in the Executive Development Group, we do a lot of training with even executives at ambassador level or even billionaires to help them to polish their messages.
Okay, and you, just a few minutes ago, you made an attempt to repackage Ken into a more effective executive type person.
Exactly. I spent a few minutes with him talking about his goals, what his priorities were, how he could, you know, deliver those messages in a more concise way, and it was a pretty good result.
Well, let's take a look at the new and improved version.
So Ken, as you know, we're a luxury brand and we're expanding into Asia and hopefully Japan. We want to understand the market. Do you think it makes sense to do focus groups?
Focus group would be a great idea. It would uncover the opinions and ideas of your target market.
Okay, so I think there are two kinds. There's qualitative and quantitative. What's the difference?
A qualitative research will give you emotional needs and responses of your market. In contrast, a quantitative will give you hard facts and numbers to support those learnings.
And then together, what does that sort of do for us?
Well, at the end of the day, we will tell you what to say, to whom, in what tone of voice to say it.
Okay. So what's the next best step at this point?
The next step would be for us to sit down and do an in-depth needs analysis.
Okay. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
lot.
very much.
So, how would you evaluate the new and improved version of Ken?
I'd call it a dramatic improvement. He was able to deliver his messages quickly. He was able to convince me that I need to go with them and focus on qualitative and quantitative focus groups. He told me the outcome that should be expected. And he was selling not only himself but the organization. I'd say that's pretty much where we need to go.
So, what is your field of expertise? This is what you do in your job every day.
That's right. I've been doing this for almost 30 years.
Executive development training.
Exactly. Over 420 companies throughout the Asia Pacific region and almost 20,000 people. It's been a good run.
Well, David, thank you very much for being with us.
It's been a great pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, David. David Wagner is from the Carter Group. And thank you very much for watching Business in Japan Television.